You know, before I got into real estate, I had the hardest time calculating how broker splits work. And I know I already told y'all that I wasn't that good at math, and I just couldn't figure out this whole split thing. When I was interviewing around, I would hear people say 70-30, 50-50, 60-40, but I literally had no clue what they were talking about. I just kind of knew in my head that you wanted to go for the higher number, I guess, but I didn't know like which was the higher number. It was just a big mess. So in this video, because I know that I'm not the only one out there that has had this difficulty or maybe is experiencing this right now, I want to tell you how broker splits work and how you can calculate them and everything. So in hopes of you finally knowing how to calculate your commission with the split that the broker gives you. And towards the end of the video, I'm going to tell you a little secret when it comes to commission split. Do me a favor, while you're watching, subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. Pretty much every agent that belongs to a brokerage has a split. The split can be very high or it can be very low. It can pretty much be anything. It can be whatever the broker gives you. So the best way to understand how splits work is think about an example of me giving you $1. Now with this $1, I'm going to say I want you to give half of it to your friend and you can keep the rest. That's pretty much a split. Basically, I'm telling you to split the money between your friend and yourself. I hope that example made sense. It was kind of basic. So how about we use some real numbers with this? Take the split of 70-30. Basically, that's the broker deciding how much money you get and how much they're gonna keep from each one of your real estate transactions. The same goes for 50-50. The broker is saying, I'm keeping 50 and you get to keep the other 50. So an easy reference to this is the first number is going to be the number or percentage that you're gonna get. The second number is going to be the percentage that the broker gets. So with that 70-30, you're gonna get 70% of that and the broker's gonna get 30% of that. Or 50-50, you get 50% and the broker gets 50%. So how about we use some real number examples for this? So let's use the example of a $500,000 home. On a $500,000 home, the 3% commission, which is most likely what the selling agent is going to get because the listing agent is going to get 3% too. So you're going to bring in 3% into the brokerage. That's going to be $15,000. So based on that number of $15,000, that's what you calculate your split off of. So if you're getting the 70-30 split, on that $15,000, then you're gonna take home $10,500. If you're on a 50-50 split, you're gonna take home $7,500 because half of that is going to the broker and half of it is going to you. And that's pretty much a real number example. So selling a $500,000 house and you get to take home $10,500 with that example. You're basically just multiplying the total commission by your split. So by your number, that first number, the 70 or the 50 or the 60, whatever your number is, that's what you're gonna multiply the commission by. Now, depending on your brokerage, you may have different fees on top of that. Some brokers out there, they charge like franchise fees, or they may charge you for insurance on each one of your transactions. Some may even have transaction fees. You're gonna have to read your paperwork and talk about this in your initial meetings with your broker to find out if there are fees on top of this. Because a lot of agents think that those fees are just built into the split until they get their final closing statements and they're kind of wondering like where all these other fees are coming from. So check with your broker. Now here's a little secret when it comes to splits, and most agents don't know this, but most of the time splits are negotiable. Some brokerages do have different split structures, like maybe like tiered splits, so depending on how much you sell, then your split gets higher or whatever. But for the most part, you can negotiate your split with the broker. Now before you try to do this though, make sure you have some leverage points. If you're a brand new agent, no experience, you're gonna need a lot of training, the broker's gonna have to put a lot of time and effort into you, then you don't need to walk in there trying to get the highest split, because you know, you can think of it like an investment. You're gonna be investing in the broker and in the brokerage, the name, the training, whatever, for a lower amount, but they're gonna be giving you a lot. And that's the situation that you want. Now, if you are a seasoned agent or you have some transactions under your belt and you're bringing something to the table, then yeah, I would say sit in that interview, negotiate a good split for you, something that you're comfortable with, something that the broker's comfortable with. People do it all the time. Like, it's not uncommon. but a lot of people just don't know that you can do this. But even if you are new, it never hurts to try. You never know. The broker's most likely going to give you the lower number to start out with, and if that doesn't work for you, then maybe just raise it up a bit, but just make sure it makes sense. There are 100% brokerages out there. There are all kinds of different split structures. Don't just look for the biggest number. I learned that the hard way. Like, really evaluate what you're getting, and if it makes sense for you to pay into the brokerage what you're paying into the brokerage per transaction. So I hope this information has been helpful. I would love to know what you think about splits, or if you've negotiated a split, just give me your split story down in the comments. And again, please like and share and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I release content like this all the time, and I have some great stuff coming. So until next time, I'm Chasen J Miles, and I will talk to you soon.